Okay. I am sitting in my car for like hours. I went to get my hair done. They were gonna color it, and then he just had to get green out, and then they cut it like all this. I hate this. How short it cut out all the damaged hair. Anyway, I guess it looks healthy. I'm gonna get it colored again, but I got myself in big trouble. My life right now is like I was just having another emotional crying breakdown. I got over it, and I'm trying to learn how to this angle's not very cute, sorry. I'm trying to learn how to break my habit of like have you ever had a situation where you're start getting real negative and you start telling yourself I'm horrible and I'm a failure, beating yourself up? I'm learning I do this, and I'm trying to figure out how to not do that anymore. Good evening. Don't lie, angle looks good. Okay, thank you. I'm trying to learn how to not be completely psycho, because I get so derailed throughout the day. I don't know, I'm just trying to relate, because school called the principal and my kid was in the principal's office again, and then it was just we talked for a whole hour to figure out what had happened, because he got in trouble for playing cops and robbers because another child I guess was choking his friend. So he steps in and is instead of going to the teacher, so it's really hard when you have kids, because you want to teach them how to behave, but sometimes what they're doing that they're being told is wrong is actually kind of normal. So that's really hard to navigate, because defending your friend who's getting choked out, that's admirable, because how many people on the street nowadays just mind their own business and are so into their phones and themselves that they don't even see what's going on, and they don't break up a situation or a fight, or they'll see stuff crazy and they don't try to stop it. You see somebody very drunk trying to get into a car. I wouldn't let that person do that, because I would say, no, you're too drunk to be driving. No. But a lot of people just turn the other way, and that's wrong, and that's what's wrong with society. But basically that's what they want to teach these kids in school, is to just, I guess get some help is okay, get a teacher, but it's kind of I was trying to explain to him, you can't solve your own problems. You have, because then he got in this kid's face and told him to F off, and got real aggressive, and then he got shoved, and then he shoved it. By the time everybody saw what was going on, he's the one screaming and being physical. And then everybody judges that, So then they judge, my child is the bad one, being sent to the principal's office. And it's just it keeps happening, and it's I was just you're trying to get yourself together. Yes, I am trying to get myself together too. I think a lot of people are really struggling right now in transition. I guess it's this whole I don't follow astrology that much, but I heard about the age of Aquarius. There is some truth to the astrological alignment, I guess. I don't know. Somebody said there's 4 planets lined up. I don't know. But when there's these planetary shifts, somehow, you could believe in God. A lot of people think that God and astrology don't go hand in hand, but it's like they followed a star to get to the baby Jesus. So it's kind of like, yeah, that's what they were. They were like astronomers, and like, just saying, yeah, it was Roman, like pagan, the Magi or something is like, they would give gold to the the kings and stuff. So it's interesting because, I mean, I like what Jesus stood for in the Bible. But I question just a little bit about the whole like Roman Catholic coming out of the Romans that crucified Jesus right before. Like, it's just a little bit weird, just saying, and then the Catholic religion's like it's like not in the Bible. Like, they didn't have these like rosary like, I'm sorry, but it's a little off, guys. Just a little bit. Yeah. So I guess I was having a meltdown and I was crying and talking about how I'm a failure and I'm a horrible parent because I have 2 kids. One's great in school, so I don't know. You end up blaming yourself, You're like, must be me. But the whole thing is when you're so stressed out, too, over a kid, and you keep getting calls, and you can't get your work done, and it's affecting you in the middle of the day, like you're spending hours out of your day not getting your work done, and you're a single mom, and you're trying to provide and work, and I'm in sales, so when I work, like, that is going to make me more money. I can't live off my salary. I have to make commission also. It's a little different. So in one way, I have the flexibility where I could take a 2-hour phone call, but like, it also is like disruptive, if that makes. So they think they can call me and run me around, and I don't know. I'm just at a loss, though. I don't know why my kid just like blows up like all the time at school. He's very angry, and then I feel bad because I'm like, okay, well, I looked at myself and I'm like, well, it's probably, I must be teaching him like really bad. I've done that before. Kind of just lost it, blown up, and that's how I grew up. I grew up in a very, very dysfunctional environment and total like chaos. And so I'm like, I'm a parent now and I'm working, and like, it's weird because I have to be an adult and I have to like raise kids because, and people might say, I guess I question I worry about that a lot, like being an unfit mom, or being judged like that because, it's just this like stigma, it's like the single mom stigma. And then it's kind of like, I feel like single moms are kind of considered to be a bit trashy and not be able to like, boys losing control of their emotions is normal. He's only 7. I don't think there's any hormones flowing. He is getting stronger though, and like wanting to eat a lot and getting like more muscle built up, I guess, but he's not like going through puberty. But that's the other issue that people don't want to address. These boys being raised by single moms and all the issues they have, and not having a man in the household, and this culture we live in now where people are like, I don't need a man, and I don't, and we're all like hardcore feminists. Like, I'm not a feminist, but I do benefit from the feminist movement because in my head I'm like, oh, I don't want to be barefoot in a kitchen, so to speak, and I don't want to do housework all day, and what a nightmare to be like a stay-at-home mom. Like, but now that I'm a little older and the kids are in school and I'm looking back at, I'm kind of like, maybe I would like to do that. Maybe it would be nice not to have the pressure of paying all the bills, you know? Like, what is so wrong with, like, just hanging out with kids and getting to, like, it's really hard. I found it to be very hard and trying because I didn't think I was naturally good with kids and all of that. So I'm not dismissing the hard work, but I am saying if you had a more stable home life and upbringing and you were good with kids and you found it to be easy, that could be a real blessing to be able to just not have to worry about paying the bills and having all that pressure. That's a lot of pressure, and that's what, a lot of us are asking for, I guess, or I'm just saying, I mean, there's different reasons. Most people end up being the single mom, are the ones that never really got married, like myself, or the ones that just got knocked up and tried to be with a guy and we weren't healthy and we had a baby, and that was kind of my situation. So I wasn't and there's different situations. There's a lot of women too that end up marrying the wrong person, and I guess, or they change, or they find out that the guy's real weird and control. It doesn't always fall on the man, obviously, but sometimes that's a situation where people don't know really who they're marrying, and then the next thing you know, you've had kids with the person and you're trying to make it work, and it's just hard. People are just screwed up, and life is hard, and I keep believing in my head that one day, it's not gonna be hard, I guess, and that's the part I need to get rid of, and just say, you know what? I gotta stop caring about what people, I gotta stop giving a shit, is what it is, and just let my life unfold the way it's, and just give it to God, I guess, and just even when it's chaotic, be I give up, because I'm at this point of having a nervous breakdown here, where I'm just but anyway, apparently we're going, the age of Aquarius is happening, which is the age of knowledge and electronics, technology and stuff. Oh God. Which is weird because they set those, thanks for the follow. Joseph, they set those ages, they say they're I was looking, I don't know, Googling, because I've heard about it, the planetary shift, and I'm what's this about? And I guess there's every 2,600 years or so, it's a new age, right? And so I thought that was interesting that there's a huge shift happening in the world, and it happens to be a lot of people being enlightened and waking up, and a bunch of the technology and AI coming at us left and right, and a fast forward shift into the future. And I feel the world is people are saying it's going to kind of move so fast and get faster, and the changes that are going to happen are going to be what you'd think you'd see in 25 years, you might see in 5 years. That's the kind of changes that we're about to have with, I don't know if you guys are following this whole Great Reset thing, which, is not a conspiracy. It was said in Davos, Switzerland, which is where, everything is out of, the big corporations, and yeah. You wrote about this 15 years ago, really? It's the connections of the consciousness and the subconscious mind. Yeah, exactly. I say that because what's interesting is I call it God, but some people would call it the subconscious or the intuition. But that is what God essentially is our like consciousness. That, like, that's why I believe in a God. But I believe in something greater than myself that is energy, that's like love, I guess. It's weird, isn't it? Your soul, exactly. I have a soul because I can feel this like lingering heavy weightiness, and sometimes I get a nudge or something in my head that I didn't put in there, or a thought, where it's an like what they call an intuition, where I'm like, I need to obey this. Like, this is the right thing to do. Or I'll feel like led to, like, you know what? I think I need to go here tonight. And then I go there, and then something happens. And it was like like a divine intervention, like where you meet somebody and it's like what you needed. Like, life is a lot more exciting when you live in that realm. But the problem is trying to stay there when calamity strikes and you're getting calls from the kids' school and your kid's off course and you're, getting asked to do all these things from work and you have deadlines to meet. And you could join for a minute, I guess. I don't care. Whatever you wanting to say. Hey. Yeah, Jason. Hey, good to see you. I'm okay.
Yeah, did that work? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, what you're describing, actually, I started writing about this many years ago when I was doing research on like astrology and like Egyptian stuff. And what
Right.
this is I believe it's every 26,000 years, the Mayan calendar and the Mayans, they knew about this. If you would imagine, like, there's an equator line, like on our planet. Well, this is also in space. All our planets and everything are on this. And in the center of it, it's the Milky Way. This I refer to as the galactic cross. The Milky Way is up and down, the universe is on its side. Every 26,000 years, we go into this. It
Oh,
takes 72 years to go through it. It's been documented.
this is fascinating.
And what pre
You can't hear you
pass
now.
through the Milky Way. Okay, can you hear me?
I can now,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is that any better? Okay. So what it does is it takes 72 years to pass through this as we go through on this like equatorial plane. Well, the gamma rays from the Milky Way heat up the center of the earth and blows all our volcanoes. This is what buries everything under the ground, like all the temples and all the dinosaurs. All the iron ore and all the minerals in the air protect us like a shield, right? Well, during this process, the only effect of the gamma ray on the human is the subconscious and the conscious mind become one. They refer to it as the removal of the Turin cloth. So now you have what's known as the galactic cross, this Jesus coming to God moment, and this 26,000 year cycle you're talking about actually totally makes sense. It's all legit.
Wow. You still there?
Um, yeah, bad connection on you.
Well, no, you said it's all real and then you stopped abruptly, and I didn't know if you still had volume or you're waiting for my response.
Yeah, it's a bad connection here, but I actually started writing a book on a lot of this stuff, and this even goes back to a lot of the stories about God and also his footprints. I would recommend like to your listeners to go on YouTube and type in two gardens and a snake. It's done by a friend of mine, real simple, two gardens and a snake, and watch the work that this guy has done. His name is Israel Anderson,
I write it
and
down.
he's like a Bible scholar, and
Right.
he was the first person to put the Bible on audiobook, and he's got multiple videos out there where he breaks down a lot of humanity, biblical text. Like he'll have you as he's walking through this, like he's really good at it. I mean, he does these really good presentations. When he's given his presentation, he'll give you the segment of the Bible to look at, like literally look at right there in the text.
Right.
And it like it will start blowing you away when you start realizing what we're really told and what we're not told. And we also have to look at what calendar are we going by. The old Julian calendar, which was 13 months, all the cycles were correct. But Pope Gregory didn't like that, and neither did the Vatican because they couldn't celebrate Easter correctly. So they created the Gregorian calendar to celebrate Easter correctly. And now I'm hearing documents based on a lot of my work I've done that I believe Christmas is truly a pagan holiday
Oh, absolutely.
based based on the death of the sun, and it rises again in 3 days. It's the winter solstice. It's very obvious.
Yeah.
So now there's articles coming out saying that April 1st the date Jesus was born. Because in the Bible, March 29th is when they claim they put Adam and Eve to the earth. So what better way than the next one to be born would be the day after. So April 1st would make more sense. And also they call it April Fool's Day. So what better way to throw it in our face?
Maybe I heard it was like
There's a lot that goes on
born
that.
in September because of like Virgo, the virgin birth, and I don't know. But yeah, a lot of our Bible was based on the like astrology, a lot of different things. And like that's what I was saying. I was saying that the Romans got involved with the Christianity and like made some shifts because I believe Jesus really walked and he was a guy who was there were a lot there and then actually there's a lot of Jesus's not Jesus's but there's people that were claiming at that time they were waiting on a Messiah, and there were people that were saying I'm the Messiah. John the Baptist was one of them, but he said he wasn't claiming to be the Messiah. Oh, I guess he lost his connection. But there was a guy that was crucified for saying just like how Jesus was, that was on a tablet that they found, like it was actual history. Yeah, we'll have to talk. That was great. Because I've been trying to like learn. I've been trying to like really open my mind. See, so like I've been trying to be open-minded about all these things that I was so closed off about, because especially when you're raised Christian, you're raised a certain way. You're like, this is the way, it's the only way. And then you're scared to look at anything else in a way. And it was like, once I started realizing it was okay for me to like research other things, and then I could still decide, what I believe, or I could believe for God to reveal the truth to me, or ask directly for my higher power to show me the truth. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have to be in this box, and I really wanted the truth. And a lot of things weren't sitting well with me on some of this stuff, a lot of stuff. So it just kind of like made me go down on these rabbit holes. And then what was really cool though was like, because like there's a lot of new agers that are like, into like the law of attraction. And a lot of like Christians will be like, oh, that's, Antichrist or what, that's not okay. That's blasphemy, or that goes, you're giving credit to something else than God and all that. But the thing about it was, when I started like reading the Gospels, the Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Jesus was always saying, As you believe, so it is. And because you believe, had faith, you're healed, and your faith made you whole. And it was just like this constant thing that just kept popping out, that he was telling us it's in our heads, it's in our minds, and it's what we believe. And I realized that all these like biblical stuff, like through that book, The Secret, where they're like, this is the secret, esoteric, like stuff that like the elites know, they don't want us to know, kind of stuff. And so it's very interesting how they control knowledge. There is only one Jesus. Yeah, I'm not disputing that Jesus is not the only Jesus. I was saying there were other people claiming to be the Messiah at that time. That's history that you can do research on. It just is. We're waiting for a Messiah. Also, the Romans didn't want anybody to, they knew that somebody like Jesus could overthrow their government. And that's what it is all about. So they would hold the knowledge, and the Pharisees were like, we're godly and we're perfect, and you guys are basically the peasants here, and you're down here, and you have to pay, right, for your penance, and that's why Jesus like flipped the tables. They were selling the doves and making the market, and it's the same thing we have today. These people in charge that want to control us, control what we consume, control our knowledge, and make us pay for it. Make us constantly, and it's insanity if you think about it, because they know that we would overthrow our government if we all individually had our own wits about us and could be self-governed and had a higher power that we connected with, and that we don't have to just subscribe to the world and the world's way, right? And they want us to be dumb and drooling, eating bad food, taking drugs, legalizing marijuana and alcohol, and they want us to be like in the time of COVID, where we're sitting watching Netflix, watching what they want to program us with, and that's it. So they can control us, the masses, period. So Constitution is the Magna Carta of 1250. Every president is a descendant of that king. Yeah, I heard that. We're still under the Great Britain, but we're really it's weird because we're still under Rome. Rome is here, the Roman Empire is still operating out of the Vatican, and it's moved over into the United States too, and we took over the globe, right? And because if you look at our Capitol building, we've got the Roman pillars and stuff. But when you start doing, I always thought history was boring, and I started recently getting so enthralled with history because things stopped making sense. The world had gone mad, and I was like, things are backwards. I'm being gaslighted every day by everyone. The people that are in charge shouldn't be in charge. The people that are the minions are the ones that actually have talent that should be, but it's you fail up, you promote, it's just what is wrong with this world? Why are we doing what we're doing? And so I started trying to look into figuring this out. So I started, well, yeah, Joseph, thanks for finding me. I am literally have all this freaking stuff in my head that I can't get out, because there's so much research, there's so much consuming of these things to try to learn, that once you piece all these things together and do all this research, it's like it's too much to even share. So when you share like a few things and people think you're crazy because they didn't do all the research. They don't know what, because you like got all of it overloaded, sensory overload all the time. I'm like, oh my God, because my brain is so analytical. I'm probably on the autism spectrum, to be honest. But that's, again, just another label. Everybody, they try to label us all with all, and it's just silly. And I'm trying not to subscribe to that, because I literally just learned about my own childhood trauma and how that has now correlated into me having, substance abuse issues, emotional deregulation, and a lot of the problems that I had, I was told were a label. You're bipolar, you're borderline, you're this, you're that, you're ADHD, you're the, without anybody addressing, you grew up in complete and utter chaos with an abusive parent, and you were removed from your home and all of your loved ones when you were 14 years old, and basically left with the core belief that you were unlovable and unworthy and that you couldn't trust anybody. Okay, so who with all of that crap doesn't then end up using and abusing and going insane? What does society do? Oh, well, you're bipolar, let's give you a pill. You're this, let's do the, you're this, you're this, you're that. Well, then one day, this new research has come along with this whatever, it's called neuroplasticity, right? We can reshape our brain, which is literally what the Bible meant when it said, renew your mind, hold every thought captive. Basically, the Bible has little codes of like little nuggets of truth, and they convince us to reject it. They convince us that it's old and it's just silly, and we're so enlightened here in 2023. We're so enlightened here in 2023, but yet we're arguing over whether a man, a biological man, can give childbirth or have a period. They took the female symbol off of tampons, because somebody got offended. Okay, so those are the people that I'm supposed to listen to when they're going to tell me, don't look at this. This is old poo-poo knowledge. Really? Because so far I'm not trusting what you're spinning. So I started looking backwards, and then my mind expanded. Thank you. I have the most beautiful eyes in North. Okay, I'll take it. So I was just like, what happened to me was I finally went and I got off all the psych pills when I got pregnant with my daughter, because I didn't want to put those pills in my unborn child. So I had to go to the psych ward. I got a psychological evaluation, and it was the first time that somebody said, you're not like bipolar, you had trauma. You have these issues because of your trauma as a child. And it's like, but we're so like brainwashed, and we believe the doctors, we believe the specialists, we believe the experts that guide us. You too, Daniel. So that's the problem, is that we don't know any better when we're young. So when I'm a teenager and I'm in my early 20s and I'm going in and out of the psych ward and on all these pills, and it wasn't until one day the psychiatrist told me, this is not a magic bullet. You're not gonna just be okay. Like, it takes like all, you got to try this and try. It was just a bunch of junk science and a bunch of trial and error. And I figured that out on my own, because I'm like, I'm still having these issues. And then they're like, well, take this pill, take a mood stabilizer, anti-anxiety, antidepressant, antipsychotic, take this whole regimen and still be messed up. oh, well, we could tweak your dose. And I wanted to be a pharmaceutical sales rep. So I went to college and got a bachelor's degree in psychology, and I was on a quest to figure myself out. And then I was like, fuck this. I cannot sell something that I don't believe in. So I'm not doing that. But I kind of started not believing in the pharmaceuticals, even though I know pharmaceuticals can help, and I'm not condoning people to not take them. It's kind of a fine line there, because I was trying not to take them, but then I had to go through the trauma therapy for the last 4 years because I was bound and determined to finally heal and do the work. And doing that work opened up a lot of layers of suppressed pain, things I never connected with from my past, my childhood wounds. So there was a lot of opening those wounds, because they say you have to feel it to heal it. So I was finally connecting to, because I could tell people like my abuse story without any completely disconnected to it. Like, oh yeah, that was what happened to me when I was a kid. There was no emotion though. It didn't grieve me, And so I obviously was just angry and spinning out in all of these areas until I finally had to feel and grieve the loss of my childhood, grieve the fact that I had a shitty parent, grieve the fact that I had kids with a guy because of my trauma who would then abandon my children, right? And then grieve the fact that I'm a single parent. And so it's like, which is why I started Sexy Single Mama, because I was so mad that I was like single mom, and I hated the stigma, and it was like, basically that's what happened. But then I finally get a diagnosis of this ADHD at like 33 years old, which I don't know why nobody told me I was ADHD. But again, that's another label, because I still think that these are like habits of what they are is ways that children cope with trauma. And you daydream and you check out and you get involved in all these little fun projects, and that's what I do. I'm still here because I have a purpose to fulfill. But yeah, one day somebody told me, and then I learned about this complex PTSD, and then I listened to an audiobook about complex PTSD, which is somebody who had just a bad, I don't want to sound like a victim when I'm talking about trauma. I'm not sitting here dwelling in it. I'm a survivor, and I've accomplished a lot. But I had this horrendous past, and it has made life very challenging because of my mind, my mental state, my ability to control my thoughts, my emotions, etc. So a lot of what they're labeling nowadays as ADHD and autism is a byproduct of trauma, period. Also, what they're labeling as like the bipolar and all of that, again, it's because you're dysregulated, because you're triggered, and then your amygdala is getting flared up, and you're going into flight or fight, or freeze or fawn, and that's what you do when you live in chaos as a child. And you have these defense mechanisms, these coping mechanisms, and then you grow up with those mechanisms, and sometimes that leads you to have the inability to communicate, and you shut down. And they'll call that autistic. So, because I was like, I took a test on that, and then they're like, and then I sat with a lady who's getting her PhD in autism, and she's like, I'm autistic. And then she's like, I'm autistic and ADHD. And it opened up this whole other door of like where they're now calling everything like everyone's neurodivergent or whatever. But what was interesting when she told me, if you have a parent that is schizophrenic, you're 3 times more likely to be autistic. Well, if you're being raised by a parent that is schizophrenic, you think you might actually end up with some issues communicating and regulating your emotions, and you might form being a little devoidant and not being as empathetic and not having as much ability to communicate with the world. And yeah, so that's my theory. And now I'm like, wow, I really think I'm onto something. I'm like, because I didn't understand why we're all hearing about everyone's on the spectrum. Every other kid I talk to is on the spectrum or they're ADHD. Even these clinical professionals that I go to, and I try to tell them about my like child and everything. They're like, I have a child at home too. It's like I can't get away from it. And then, you know, and it's interesting because you find out the details of, you know, their life, or if they're a product of divorce, or if they had a screwed up childhood. We're just all walking around like just products of like trauma and like emotionally detached parents, workaholic parents, the whole society that we've developed. And the studies haven't even caught up, you know, and they want to put a label on everything. But it's kind of like, well, electronics raise us, and we don't have communication skills now, and we don't know how to go on a date anymore, you know, be normal. Guys don't know how to court women. Not that women are perfect. I mean, a lot of us are really entitled, and I don't know. Well, or if you're raised by a narcissistic parent, you know, you're going to be a little... It's just interesting. And so my head's spinning because I try to figure everything out, and I get my head so full of stuff. And yeah, so I talked to this autistic psychologist, and she's like, actually got me everything I said. She's like, yes, that's why I do that too. And I'm like, you mean I'm just autistic? Like what? Like I'm on the spectrum? Like, I don't really believe it, but I believe I have some of those traits. Absolutely. But then the other issue is, in psychology, I can't stand psychology in a way, because there's no black and white. It's all gray. It's like, well, you could have this, but you could also have this, but we don't really know because this looks like this. And it's a bunch of junk science, pretty much, and labels. And the problem I have with it is they're diagnosing people with depression and anxiety and bipolar and ADHD, yet most of those people being diagnosed with that grew up with an abusive parent, or a parent that abandoned that. Like, that is the core issue, period. And we are labeling everything as all these chemical imbalances and these brain, it's like, and it's really doing a disservice to the mental health profession, community, everybody out there struggling. Half of us have anxiety and depression. Half of us could be diagnosed as that. But then look at the news constantly throwing like stuff to cause us in a panic, to make us clickbait. So they are literally creating a society where we're always on edge, always freaking out, always fearful, always just like, it's not conducive of a peaceful life, you know. And also we're praising and rewarding people that work so hard because of, you know, what they can accumulate, how much money, how big their house is, how clean they can have their house, how many kids they can pop out and still keep a clean house and still have organic meals. And that's what we're glamorizing. Like, so I don't really know. I just think the world's upside down, and that's about it. I don't even know what to go with all this because there's so there's a name for what I do, apparently, when you just like find something interesting and you can't get enough of it and you want more and more and more and more. She called that monotropic flooding, which I was going to monotropically flood on now. I was going to look this up and then do study after study after study. But that's my issue. I will be fixated on this is my problem and this is my label. 20 years of marriage in a narcissist. Well, yeah. Well, you have to heal yourself before you will attract somebody who's healthy. I didn't like that. So I couldn't accept that. But it finally wasn't. The thing that got me was it wasn't so much that who I was attracting at one point. It was like, I'm not attracted. It's me. I'm not attracted to somebody who's good for me. I don't have attraction towards, like, at that point, I wanted the guy that was going to abandon me and replay out the childhood and that lie in my brain that tells me that I'm, unlovable and worthless and all of that. And it's like gotten to the point where I finally got some things in my life. I didn't know those were lies because they seemed true. And one day I woke up and I was like, I have a house. I have 2 healthy, beautiful kids. I have a job that pays me pretty good, and I have flexible hours. I'm attractive. I can pay my bills, but I'm miserable. And I thought, the way I feel isn't reality to my life. So something is wrong. I must have this condition where I just cannot be happy. And that's what I'm trying to figure out, and which boils down to, obviously, the whole gratitude, which I hated that. Oh, focus on your gratitude, positivity, Pollyanna, whatever. I hated it. But I started realizing when I focused on positive things, I've been dealing with depression, anxiety. Tequila, being happy is gratitude. Yeah, absolutely. That's what we got to talking about. A lot of people feeling this weirdness right now because of this alignment in the planets and the poles flipping upside down or something. I don't know. It's really happening. And we are energetic beings. And that stuff sounds so crazy. And I used to think it was so like corny. Like your vibration and all that. But now I get it. I get that. Because that's what, like, the pyramids were about. Like, why did they make those pyramids? Why did they do this? Incredible. That's what I started looking into. And Nikola Tesla, because it was kind of like, why are they hiding this? How did they make these amazing structures that they can't replicate today? How did they do that? Like thousands of years ago? Like, something isn't adding up. And then there was those Tesla trunks that all of his, stuff went missing, and he was really obsessed with frequency and vibration and sound waves. And now they have all that stuff. We don't know. They're in the Pentagon probably. But this frequencies is what they use to, like, I even heard they used it for mind control. They would play, like, because bad people, like, got the frequencies that feel good frequencies. Like, you know how some music just puts you in a trance? That's what we are, literally. Like, and I started learning about how our heart is lives from energy. Period. You cannot say that we're not energetic, because you can put like some apparatus in your heart to keep you alive if your heart stops pumping, and it'll jerk, pulsate, a defibrillator, I don't know what it's called. But that's the technology we have now, like, that literally is like putting an electric current to keep you going. Crazy, right? And then somebody said that our one thought in our brain, because every time we have a thought, it's like electricity, literally, like, moves through. And that's what they were saying. When we have the same negative thought, it's the path of least resistance. We've already formed these grooves in our brain. We've formed these negative thoughts, and we go, and like, so somebody who's real negative, like I've been in myself guilty of, will have these same little thoughts of, I'm a failure, I'm a loser, I'm a bad mom, poor me, poor me, poor me. And it's that same little pattern. And that's why we have to create a new neural pathway, they call it. And it is energy. I don't know if it's true, but I heard that some guy, it was a son, I don't know who he was, but he said that one of our thoughts had enough like energy it was like a laser beam. And that's where that laser focus comes from. That saying, laser focus. And that's why what we focus on is so important. What we think about is what we create. And that's our reality. And anything you want, you can have by changing what you think. And because what you say and what you speak is what you start believing. And if you start believing, you'll start feeling that way. And once you start feeling that way, you'll start acting in that way. And then you can transform your life. Seriously. It's not easy. Trust me, it's not. Because fighting those battles in your head, we are way more powerful than they want us to believe. Abso-fucking-lutely. Yep. They want to keep us in our place. At the bar, watching the football game. You know what I'm saying? Drinking away and believing whatever they play on that screen. You know, meanwhile, you get, the guy from Germany. Why was he so powerful when he spoke? You might want to look that up, but I heard he had a certain frequency going when he spoke. He played the frequency. They changed the frequencies. They messed with them. They've like there's like real powerful, like, but it was interesting what this guy was saying about the cross in the earth that he was saying, which was interesting, which he was comparing to like where they got some of that. Like, I also heard that they call it the Christos. It's another whole thing. There's like with the chakras and stuff. I don't follow that, but I am learning about it to try to understand it and to see if there's some truth to it. Because a lot of times, a lot of the stuff that people will try to tell you, like, don't look at it, it's bad. It's like, once you like study it, you're like, you find out it's not really what they said it was anyway. And that there is some truth and some value to, like, I find it interesting. I don't know. I think my favorite color is green. The heart chakra is green, and it runs on like, I don't know. I keep wanting to say it's 524 hertz or something, but I learned this from like YouTube. Some like videos you can play. I'm in Texas. I got to get off here and stop rambling because I'm like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing right now. Oh, yeah, I started doing this TikTok shop stuff and now I'm in over my head because like broke down. I had so many products that they want a video. I don't even know what I'm supposed to do. It's so bad. So I kind of like had to stop. Like, I'm 40. Hey, been needing to catch up with you, Joe, about some stuff. I moved my 401k into like bonds because are bonds going to be safe this year? Somebody texted me like all manic like last night telling me that it was happening and that our banks are going to collapse and like, yeah, I have kids. I'm like absolutely fucking insane. I am not. Just because you see me, like, I'm brilliant and I'm attractive, but I'm not really worth like the suffering that you would endure, like, mentally right now. Still, I'm working on that piece, but people, I don't know what muni bonds are. I don't even know what the fuck I did. And I transferred, because I don't even know what I did. I don't even know how to log in and figure it out on the 401k, but I just know that I shrunk it down to the lowest percentage where my company still matches because I was putting a lot of money in the S&P 500, which is like at an all-time high, and we have a 34 trillion deficit, and people are fucking broke except for the people that aren't. So inflation's not fixed. And all of this stuff that's happening is being done by design. And you will own nothing and you will be happy and you're going to eat less meat and you're expected to fart less and accept more refugees into your country. So yeah, look it up. Look it up. And I don't know what's going to happen with the money system because our money is printed. I know, I would love to go off grid. It's expensive to do that. Well, or a lot of things are just so fucking hard. With Google and everything we have, they still make it so hard to like figure any fucking thing out. I want to get away from all these like crazy like electric magnetic like frequencies, and I know it's so funny. Yeah. Yeah, I kind of want to like just disappear to myself because I'm mentally like not, my brain is just so fucked up all the time. Could be the drugs. The prescribed shit that I'm like trying to get off of. But every time I try, it's just like I can't function, so I'm kind of stuck right now. But a lot of people, like my therapist says when you're done in your therapy that you can then I'm just not there yet. I need to slow down. I really fucked myself up, and I had a little mental breakdown and my kids off course, and I feel like a failure. And then I took like 40 fucking, like, I gave my address to all these sellers on the TikTok shop, and I was doing all these videos, and it got to be too much. And now they're like really pissed because they're like, where's my video? And I don't really want my page flooded with fucking ads. I wish I didn't have to put it on my fucking page and I could just give them the video. And I might just do that. Here's your video. Do what the fuck you want with it. Because that's a lot of work and people don't understand. When you're setting up and you're trying to get the right lighting and you're trying to come up with a script and you're trying to come up with some creative and and then people, it's like a lot of work to do those ads. And I have great products, but I got myself so depleted mentally that it was like, I cannot, because they started sending all these things to me. Like, so, which is a first world problem. Yes, it is. Oh, boo-hoo, I have all these products. But I have integrity, and I feel bad that I said I would get a video put out in a week, and I can't do it. I can't do it. I have a full-time, yeah, I have 2 kids. I'm a single parent, and I have my own job that I'm neglecting, and I don't know how to set boundaries with these Amazon sellers. It's like somebody in China, like, literally, like, saying, you didn't meet your commitment when you post my video. It's like, and then they send, like, so much, and some of the stuff is cool, but I'm just like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. I'm really not, because I don't know how I can get all these videos done. Like, and I'm trying to rack my brain and figure out how, because I've had to, like, do my real job, which I've neglected. And I was neglecting my kids, and I was, and I'm like, yeah, I'll get your video done. And I know I need help writing an email that says, like, be patient with me. I'm sorry I didn't commit. I got too many products, and I have too many problems right now, and I'm booked. I don't know how to set boundaries. You're glad you never did what? TikTok shop? Oh, you haven't joined it yet? It's okay to do it if you get a sample. They actually give you 2 weeks, and you can also just go live, and then you have a product for, like, a live, and then you don't get anything negative against your account. Like, it's easy to just go live and show a dress or something. That was fun. But it was, for me, it was the videos that they wanted, because then they were saying they were going to put an ad out, and they were going to promote my video. And then they were, like, saying that, and then when I would do that and do a video, they would then tell me what was wrong with the video, and that they wanted me to redo it. And now I'm like, I have to do more work, and I have to edit this now. I already spent 6 hours on this video, and it went nowhere, and you're not going to push it out. Or, I think this video is brilliant, but you're not pushing it out. And then I was making some sales, but nothing. It was slavery and extortion. Yeah, it was nothing like what I thought. And it was like, it just not. It's like, yeah, you want me to use my clout, my page, and push these things on my people to sell for you, and, like, no, like, but I do love the markers. And I wanted to maybe just have a niche where I just draw and do art, and people buy markers, they buy markers, art supplies, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm not pushing things that I don't think are cool products on people, but my whole page I didn't want to make about products. Like, so I'm still navigating how the fuck I'm gonna fix this mess that I got myself into, because it became like nightmarish, and I shut down, and then I had to get back to my actual job and back to my recovery programs and my meetings and my therapy. It's like I had to take care of my mental health. And that's what a lot of these people don't understand. Like, if you are performing on lives or doing podcasts or making YouTube videos, you're taking hours and hours to, like, film and edit, and it's a lot of work. And it looks like it's not a lot of work. It looks like you're like, oh, look at this product. But that's what I actually need to start doing, is just being like, oh, here it is, boom, and being done and not caring. Because I went way too hard on caring and editing. So I'm learning as I go, but that's not my job. And the kicker, here's the fucked up thing about it. It's like, I really dropped the ball on my regular job for the last couple of months, and I just was so emotionally burnt out, and I felt bad, but my boss gave me a raise and a promotion, and I think that was to motivate me, because he knows I'm a good employee and I worked really hard in the past and all that. But I felt like, oh God, now I'm neglecting my job who actually gives a fuck about me and I'm good at and I can make good money doing this, so why am I trying to chase something else? It's like I constantly doing that where I like try to chase this big shiny fancy thing and it doesn't really end up being that. I'm like think it's going to be the quick fix because I'm like, oh, this person made $20,000 selling. It's like, why? And then I start saying, why can't it be me? What if it could just be me? What if I just could make like $20,000 selling products, that they advertise? But I don't know. I've noticed anything you think is easy is not. I mean, unless you have major connections, everything I've had to do that's been worth anything is something that I had to work really hard to earn, and it didn't happen overnight. It was something I had to diligently do day over day, rain, sleet, snow, and then those days added up into years, and those years added up into decades, and then all of a sudden I looked back and thought, wow, I really accomplished something there. Okay, that was fun, and I'm now bored, so let's go to the next, I don't know. Anyway, that's my issue right now. I have so many products and I feel so bad that I have these angry people. Where's my video? Where's my video? And where's my re-edit of this? It's like, I don't fucking know how to navigate which ones to even prioritize. So, one at a time, I know. And then here's the kicker. Here's a fucked up thing, man. It's actually kind of comical. I had this big flip out, gave myself a black eye, which I have covered in make. I finally found good concealer, but it was like kind of, I didn't mean to give myself a black eye, but I punched myself. Well, I didn't mean to, but I punched myself. Well, I was one of those like, oh, I have a bad sinus headache. My life sucks. Ended up getting black. Then I'm like freaking the fuck out. I lost it, and I finally prayed to God. I'm like, God, please, okay, I surrender. I surrender. Whatever you want, I'm going to give it to you, because that's the problem. I keep trying to make it happen and force it and do it instead of letting God, or some people want to call it the universe, whatever you want to call it. It's true. It's real. There's a force that will fucking handle it if we let go. Swear to God. I let go, and it's like immediate. It's like school calls, they're resolving it, they're going to get a meeting going, they're going to, and then like I look at the email and it's like, they said, oh, we're announcing the winners for the trip at work. And I was on there, my name, and I was like, what the, huh? I've never been so shocked in my life. I was like, I feel like I fucking like just gave up and said, fuck it, I don't care anymore. And I did. I'm like, if God wants me to win the trip, I'll win it. Like, because I knew I was kind of close on some of the numbers, but then I just really derailed. And I don't know what happened, but everybody was like, I won it before, though. I mean, I'm not, and that's the thing. I'm sitting here saying I'm a loser, and then I win this like trip, the company like trip to like all inclusive resort, real fancy. Like, it's incredible, but it was just like a shock. And it was also like kind of this reality of like, I didn't even really try and I got it, and that's the problem is I mean, I'm not saying we don't try, but it's like when we're doing stuff, it almost should come out of the spirit. And if it's supposed to be, it'll be kind of easy, kind of effortless. You're just naturally good at it, and I'm like that with my job. So I'm sitting here like, why am I fighting my job? Why am I sitting here? Because I was like really getting negative about my job, saying I don't want to do this job and I don't want to work for corporate anymore. And I don't want to, but I sell energy. I'm a light dealer. Go figure, which is what God's trying to tell me. You're supposed to be a light to the world and give people energy and power and empower people. There's a lot of symbology in that. So That's what I'm supposed to do. And whatever that looks like, I don't know. But hey, Pink Scrub 79, follow my girl. I did a little bit of ramble, got myself in huge trouble with TikTok Shop because I have like 40 fucking things and they're demanding videos and I am going mentally insane. I'm insane because I poured my heart and my soul into these videos that they said they were going to promote, which, I mean, they've promoted some. I've made sales, but it's nothing like the money I can make on doing my actual job. So here I was trying to like not do my job. I was telling everyone, and then I'm like throwing myself into this, which ends up being a total nightmare. And then I won the trip at work, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, what? Oh my God. So yeah, I should be happy about that. When I saw it, I wasn't happy. I was like, what? To be honest, full disclosure, I was talking to Apple because I don't recognize these charges that keep coming out and they can't tell me. And I'm like talking to the customer service lady, and then she's like, and then I saw this email that I had won this work trip, that I was awarded this trip, this all-inclusive, you know, Cabo San Lucas, whatever. 5 nights, 4 days at the spa and all of this, all you can eat and everything, all you can drink, but I don't drink alcohol. I wish I could take Pink Scrubs, but I have to take somebody that I owe them because they were really there for me last couple years. But yeah, it would be so much fun to take her. But I'll have to win it again. I took my sister once, and then my other sister watched my kids, so I have to figure out childcare. The TikTok, well, okay, so these sellers sent me so many products, and I don't have the time to like devote to my job and my kids and my mental health. And I poured myself into all these videos, and then they don't like the video, or they're not going to promote it, and then it's like on my page and it's not getting a lot of views, and I don't even want it. It's like I was trying to just try different things and be creative, but I was spending hours editing these videos, and I was pouring way too much into them because I wasn't being paid to put that much time into them. And so it turned into a nightmare where I was like day and night, and then I was responding to all the emails because they were like wanting to send me, every time I was like, I'm not taking another thing, they would offer me something that I was like, okay, I need that. But I didn't really. It was like, one was a chainsaw. Like, I was like, yeah, I want a chainsaw. Hell yeah. Like, they kept upping the ante, and I kept taking more, and now I have like 4 fucking blow dry, well, 3 maybe, I don't know, different types of blow dryers. And I'm like, how? And then all of a sudden I'm like, how am I going to post all of this? How am I going to post all this on my page, flood my page with this stuff? I could go live and that'd be fine, but I have fun going live because I'm at least entertaining and people have fun. On the video, I don't want my whole page to just be products. I tried to do creative things that were cool and funny, and I didn't mind showing off like my art talent and then having the marker linked to that. Like, I was cool with that. But it turned into like, I have like a couple of these ear things. I don't even know who sent them. I have these bodysuits. I have this butt lifter thing that like, it's the weirdest thing. It apparently, like, it hoists your butt up. It zips. The crotch is a zipper. Weirdest thing ever. Then there's like a thong thing, and then it gets better. It like goes around your waist, like up into your boobs, and then it has like these straps, suspenders that apparently it ends up holding your butt, pulling your butt up from your shoulders, and like giving you a lift and flattening your stomach at the same time. And then there's a whole corset thing with it's weird. Like, I'm getting all this shapewear stuff, and I'm like, The bigger girls do better with the shapewear because they're the ones that are trying to have a silhouette and look good in a dress. I'm not really that like voluptuous right now. I have been heavier in my life. I've been thicker for sure, but I'm kind of on like more, a little too thin right now. So, because I'm tall too, so my stomach's not. I got the mom thing going on, a little bit of, but not really. So it's like, I don't know. I can look good in like a leotard, but like nobody's gonna like. You didn't even hear all that. Oh my god. This live is gonna go on my YouTube because it was hilarious. All I'm saying is the TikTok shop is so. I took too many products, and I went crazy trying to like promote them, and now I don't know how I'm gonna get all of these videos to these people that sent me products. They sent like, yeah, these ear thing that all this, I have like and now they're sending 2 things at once. I'm like, whoa, my god. I got like this earpiece, 3 blow dryers, 3 phone. I got a squatty potty. I got a phone, 3 phone chargers, another fucking leotard, another thing that charges and has a speaker, a dog bed. What else came in? No, they're sending me this stuff, but they charge you because you end up doing all this work to do a video, and then you like edit the video, and then it ends up being a lot of hours of your time. And then they send you coupons to buy more stuff, and I can't say no. I have no boundaries. I'm like, $50, okay, cool. Even though they still get you because you pay your little fucking shipping fee, but you're like, well, it's worth it. This is only $10 for this rack that would cost, I don't even fucking know. I started to create an order, and then they like fucking reprimanded me. They're like, there's a little alert, like, you accepted a coupon, you need to use it. It's like, holy fuck, man. They're very aggressive. I did a video on a vacuum, took me 3 days because I keep deleting the video by accident. Oh, well, mine were, I have another vacuum to do and another one begging to do. And I honestly have so many things that I don't know who sent them. I have hair extensions, underwear, booby things, it's bad. Because I didn't say no. And I was supposed to get my hair done today. Guys, I was supposed to get my hair colored, and he had to spend 2 hours getting the green out of my hair, and then he cut it, and I don't like it, and he's gonna color it again, but like, he said that if he can't dye it with this green shit I had in there. So he had to use this crap to remove it. He's like, if I put blonde in there, it's gonna be like a lime green, it doesn't come out. And then, yeah. And it wasn't even like one set of pasties. Like now they're doubling up and sending like 2 things. And I'm like, damn, 2 sets of these. And then if I don't post, they're like, you didn't meet our agreement. You said you would post within 1 week. And I'm like, they must think this is my job. I'm like, I'm just a TikToker. I am just a single mom that like uses TikTok as a creative like outlet and to talk to people. Thank you. Yeah. So that I'm like, this isn't a job. Like but it's and then I feel bad. Oh, I have this weird face mask. Apparently it's red light therapy. It's like gonna be like, I don't even know. I'll probably say I look like fucking, who's that guy, Jason, with the hockey mask? That's what it is. It's like, but it's like thick, and it like, and you're supposed to like, I don't know what it does. I guess it's anti-aging, this red light therapy. Some of them are nice things though, and then I feel bad. Like, I'm like, yeah, I'll get your video done. I'll get your video. Oh, a pillow I have to do, and a bed cover. Oh my God. I'm gonna have to just do a real quick little thing and send it to them. Here's your draft. Like, I don't know, I can't put that much time and energy. I put way too much time and energy into it because in my head I went into this fantasy that this could be my big break and that I was going to get like contract with like Sharpie markers and I was going, in my head, that's where I went that I'm going to get this advertisement. Like I just went there. I thought I'm going to get found, discovered by this company and this is going to be my job and I'm going to make millions off of just, I don't know. That's where my head goes. And then it's the ADHD. I throw myself into doing this and then I get mad and wear myself out. So yeah, I'm trying to like find like, there's like this other thing. Shit. And the other thing is it's like technical. This is like something I have to post. I feel bad because it is a Valentine's Day gift, but I agreed to too much stuff. And I sent my address to all of these people, not thinking that they would actually send anything. And then once I started selling stuff on my page, I guess I got recognized as somebody who was selling, a creator that was on TikTok Shop. So then TikTok sent me my information to like all these sellers, and then they started fulfilling like these orders that I guess I had committed to when I wasn't really receiving that much. So I was like, yeah, sure, send it. Yeah, I go to counseling. This is my therapy. I don't know how the fuck to do this. This is like, I gotta make a nice video though. Just suck it up. It's like a couple's like bracelet where like they can send a little tap and then the person can feel the heartbeat on. I don't even fucking know what it is. So it's a lot of it's technical and then you have to like look it up and then you have to like look at other video. That's the time consuming stuff nobody pays attention to. You think it's a product and that you just, I got this product, yay. But it's not like that. It's like research. And write a script, read a script. And it's hours of figuring out where the script is, who sent it. Because I used to not want to do scripts. I like to do my own creative thing. But then they start saying, well, you didn't say this. And they start nitpicking it. And you're like, dude, I spent 6 hours editing this. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, you gave me like, these things are not, I mean, I don't want to be like ungrateful, but if you think about all of your time and energy, them mailing you something that they spent $5 wholesale on is not really that big of a deal. I'm sorry. It's not worth your mental health. And so I gotta go because I'm like, I gotta record at least a video for this. And I feel bad because I really did want I wanted the new pillow. I'm not gonna lie. And I did agree to it, but I gotta go because tomorrow I'm gonna be all day making videos all day. And then maybe I'll go live with a bunch of stuff. I'm trying to think of how I can do it where it's easy. Like if I go live and I like show a product, then I can clip a piece of the live and just be like, there's my video. Like it or lump it. Sorry. You know what I'm saying? Like I need to like be like, I'm not taking any more, or I'm booked full for like, I don't know how to do this shit. I don't know how to set boundaries and I don't know how to say no. Oh yeah, you too. Maybe we can start a podcast. That's what I really want to do though, is have a podcast and how, like when I say podcast, I mean, a lot of people move it over to YouTube, like, or you do it in a podcast, but you publish it on YouTube. I have a YouTube, but I don't have my niche going really yet. And that's my issue and what my real calling really is and narrowing that down. And I really know it relates more to like connecting with people on an emotional level and an intellectual level, way more than it is about like my niche is not products or reviews. I don't mind modeling clothes or having fun with, I do like doing art. I'm not gonna, I do like, had fun with those, but I went way too hard on it. The best video, yeah, I need to do a podcast. And we could collaborate, because I'm trying to create one, and then I have engaging conversations with, that's all it is. It's a subject that people want more information. They do so well, especially on YouTube, because that's like all I listen to, and different like interviews of different people that have something to say. Because I'm weird. I have a lot of like weird interests. Like I love economics and finance and stocks, and I got on this big Federal Reserve kick and how they're printing the money and selling the bonds, and it's a big Ponzi scheme, and then it's not going to last. And most of society doesn't understand this. Most of society doesn't even understand this concept that all money is just created out of thin air, and it's not backed by anything. And then it's a debt that is then digitally created, and then the debt is sold, and then they pay back the debt with an interest, which then they have to print more debt, and it causes inflation. And I've gotten into like arguments with like liberals that said we have plenty of money, we just need to take care of our people with it. And I was like, yeah, but you don't get it. Like the Democrats that you love that are like giving money away, this money is not like, it doesn't really exist. They don't have it. The government is broke. And when you print all this extra money and create all this extra debt, you're leaving it for your great grandkids to be paying it back. Or I don't really know like how to put it to them. Like it's causing the inflation. It's why a Hershey bar is $2, and 10 years ago it was $1.50, $1.25 maybe. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why wages don't go up in relative to the price of consumer goods. Whatever CPI they're talking about is not even accurate. Their consumer price basket is bullshit. It's all bullshit. You're getting fucking bullshit. You're getting a report, the job market is booming and everything's great. But meanwhile, what you don't know is the commercial loans are on a fixed rate, and so when those things adjusted and the people couldn't get tenants in those big high-rise buildings in Chicago and New York, and they gave those buildings back to these small banks, and these banks are not, they're not getting money off of, people are returning, they're repoing their fucking cars. There's so many hurting people out there that are scrambling paycheck to paycheck, and if they cared, the only tax deductions would be employee wages. Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing, and that's where I get the liberals saying, okay, why does this company need to make $100 billion and pay their employees $40,000 a year when they can't fucking afford to live off of $40,000 a year anymore? That's where I understand why they like the communism idea of sharing and with each other. And I get what they're saying, because they're saying this company doesn't need all this wealth when people don't have good health care. Why can't we all just have good health care and not be so selfish? So that's the problem, though. I kind of see where they're coming from, but they don't understand that this money that's printed is not free. Like, it's not. It's, you will pay, and you will pay dearly, and your grandkids will pay, and their children will pay. So, but once I found that out, I was just like really fascinated by all of it. And I really started understanding the whole interest rate thing and this quantitative easing. They always use these fancy terms so that you don't really understand what's going on. You know, it's like quantitative easing means causing unemployment to surge because you're gonna, what, raise the interest rates or something so that you'll slow down spending. When are you going to Bible study? Soon. Sitting here rambling. That's why I said I gotta get off here. Person that's watching my kids is probably watching this like, why are you on TikTok live? Is this what happens? I ramble. I fucking ramble. And then it just keeps going and I can't stop. And I have so much to say. You're withdrawn. I didn't withdraw. What do you mean? I'm just sitting here like, I don't even fucking want to like make a fucking video right now.
Hey.
Hey, what's up?
No more water. Yeah, you don't want to get a big yelling in the house. You're right. Hey. I'm going to take this off. I'm wearing a maternity shirt, so I better take that off. I'm wearing a romper someone sent me. I made some videos today. Amazing. Oh my gosh, they're driving me nuts. Is it Monday up?
Yeah, I hear you.
I was having a spiritual revelation with someone else. I had this revelation about, do you want to hear what I wrote? It's really good.
Sure.
I cannot eat it, I don't think, because I have to get off. But basically, when we're born, we we are born into the spirit, but we're born of this world. So we embody as we grow from a very young age, we embody all of these traits of the world, not of God. And so basically, when we start to have these spiritual awakenings, we get our heart pulls to these different things. I got to quit pot. I got to give up drinking. I got to give up, porn, whatever. We give all these little. The reason people feel these heart tugs is because that's their spirit is alive again. We basically kind of kill it. We're going in school and all this. Like, we see kids, they have all this, and then as you get to school, and then God says, whoever will lose his life will save his life. Basically, God tells us that we have to lose that life in order to have it. So that's why
Let go, let God, yeah.
why I got all these different things finally, but I never got it before, was because I actually truly committed to my spirit, not my, but the thing my friend was arguing with me about was like, oh, well, pot's like of this, it's a natural thing, but God didn't, that's not of God.
Well, he might have grown marijuana to like eat and like make hemp or something,
Yes. But when we're at night wanting to relax, when we want to relax and be in the spirit, it's just you can't be doing that. Maybe down the road, after you've been awakened and you have all the peace and all these gifts, maybe once in a while you can do that, but you can't. You're not going to. God's not going to be able to. So it's really wild. And then I realized this is a crazy that I can't even remember what I realized. It was so good and so profound and it sucked all my energy, but it was such a beautiful message. It was so good. It was so good for him. It was like I Get For You, just so pretty. Right, but some people, they can't get the peace part of, okay, God died for us, and people think like, okay, God died for me so I can do whatever I want. But we have to come to terms with the fact that Jesus very well did that. But when we pick up doing drugs or these different idols where we're putting that above God, God can't connect with us because we're not really on his level. We're on a different plane with whatever substance we're on.
I will interject and say that God doesn't expect us to go up to his level. He comes down to reach us. We don't go
He says in scripture, for all things, for a little while he says in scripture that you do need to give everything over. It's like a trust barrier. You do need to give things over. It's like a trust. He does say it, and I'll send you the scripture later. He does say it. He doesn't say forever, but he says for a period of time, you do need to give all idols over to, you have to give everything up for him. He does say that. So some people, they can drink normal and it's fine, but some people can't. That's a great example. Some people can drink alcohol and it's not an idol. Others can't. So you're going to know the person, the people, when you meet someone and they're discerned that they have to quit this thing and they're fighting it, but they know they're discerned. That's what I'm talking about. A person I was talking to that's discerned. They're being discerned. I have to give this drug up. This is it. You had this. My friends telling me I have to give this up. I'm being discerned. I know all this stuff is resonating. But the thing was, a year ago,
have a issue.
That happens. The Holy Spirit convicts you, like we saw earlier today with that person. I'm not even talking about you. I'm talking about my friend. And the beauty of all this is that we don't know how to really act, right? They're like, I don't know how I'm gonna manage. Like, this is what I did for fun. Like, how am I gonna manage? But the best part is that God, he makes you a new person. You become so reborn that you're not even close to that person. So it doesn't even matter because you get these new character traits. Like, I embodied crocheting this past year, and I have ADHD. I can never sit still to even learn how to crochet. And then one day I just started, God gives these things to you that allows you to move and to have these, to make it. You're able to make it somehow. The things you never thought you could make, he gives you this perseverance and you make it. And then you never look back and you're a different person, and he gives you these skills, and you'll realize, like, gosh, what a waste of time that was saying bargaining. What a waste of time I did bargaining this. Why did I bargain with Jesus? Like, why would I ever have done that? And then you realize, gosh, that was so silly. I don't need to bargain anymore. we don't have to bark. Like, why are we, oh, we don't have, it's fine for us to do this tit for tat, you know, like that's not really how this works, you know? So, yeah, it just was a good revelation for me. It was good. It just reaffirmed, you know, my path in the name of Jesus. Thanks, Joseph. Amen.
My Bobby, please get my bottle, my Bobby.
Are they in here?
No.
Why are you soaking wet?
Why my Bobby?
Oh, no.
Hey, Mommy, go get my Bobby.
I'm not going to get them, but where did you put them?
And
Oh, boy, this is really a big mess.
now.
You're going to get me in a lot of trouble. Oh, my God. While I was doing that, we had an intermission. What made you believe in God so much? Oh, I don't know. I always had this. I always had this press for God. Like I was real little, and no one in my family wanted to have a Bible, but I asked for one in my Easter basket. I was maybe 6, and I wanted a Bible. And then I started becoming, you know, a preteen, and I joined this group called Young Life, and I just wanted to be like, I wanted to be one of those Christians that wore the long skirts and like did her Bible, but I was really, I had a lot of spiritual battles with the world too. Like I had a lot of teenage trouble that I was like 2 different people. I was like Jekyll and Hyde. During the day, I was like this Christian volunteer with the special ed, and then at night I'd go hang out and party, and then I would go on the weekends. I just had this intense guilt. I didn't even drink at parties. I just went to parties, and then I begged my parents every weekend to drop me off at the Christian church, and I volunteered there. I ran their children's ministry for 10 years. I was the head of it, and I still would leave there and go smoke cigarettes, and you know, I don't know, but I always just had this pull. I had this pull, and then one day it just got so big I couldn't reject it anymore, and I never went back. It was so big. So that's a long story, right? Jekyll and Hyde, right? Is that the guy? Jekyll and Hyde?
I believe in God, but I still have like it's hard to, you know, when you're working in the world and living in the world and you're of the world, you're not like just.
Okay. I have to go, sorry.
They put in a age restricted like thing on here, and I'm like, because she brought up like a certain thing, and it was like, okay, but I had to follow that. I know her very well, and I just don't. I still have a hard time with the fully surrendering to God and letting go. And I know this is all true. And it's what I was saying with even the law of attraction too, you know, and just we reap what we sow. It's in all the religions, all the world religions, and all the great literature, you know, it all says the same thing. So I do believe in that. But then sometimes what the thing is where a lot of Christians lose me, like not that I consider myself a Christian, but I'm talking about the ones that are like in, I don't want to say in La La Land, but like this, like God is so good. Like I want to be that happy and positive, but it's so hard. Like I don't want to lose my connection with people that are hurting too, and my being authentic and my authentic self. And I suffer with big emotions, big emotions, big mood swings, and I do get those little glimmers, you know, of God, and these moments where I'm like, I am not reading the Bible enough. That's the, you know, I'm going to a Bible study tonight, though. Actually, so that'll be good. But a lot of the scriptures, there's good stuff in it, you know, and it's what it's all about is really the scriptures are the same things as what they are telling us about our thoughts and how we manifest things, and where our attention goes, energy flows, and what we think about grows. Think and Grow Rich. Like, these are all biblical principles, period. So it's in the Bible, like, you reap what you sow, you know. So I started realizing that there was truth to that, and that has helped me a lot. But with my own emotional turmoil that I still have, like, I went to a meeting yesterday, which was actually a Celebrate Recovery meeting, because I don't drink alcohol. Like, I haven't had a drink in 2.5 years. So 12-step kind of stuff, right? But it's interesting because the steps are, you know, came to believe, well, number one, you have to admit, you know, that you're powerless over X, Y, and Z. So when somebody is powerless over something and it's got a hold of them, it's taken over their life, and you have, like, you know, a churchgoer come along and be like, just give it to God and let go, and it's like, you don't have the power. You don't have it in your own fleshly strength. It has a hold of you. You are powerless. You are addicted. No matter how much you love God and feel God's presence here, there's something else going on. So that's why we have the step 2, came to believe that a power greater than yourself could restore you to sanity. The first step is you don't have the power to do it. You don't. You can't stop. So all of this, like, you've got to stop to find God. You've got to no. God, you've got to get to this extra level to, like, experience, like, yeah, if you give up, yes, Romans says our sin separates us from God. We know this is true. We know our sin separates us from the sunlight of the Spirit. We know this. But just because we know it, we're living in a world full of toxic food, toxic environment, toxic people, like, you know, we've been through different traumas. We're navigating life, going through all these things we were never intended to do. This is not the life we were supposed to have, clearly. And so we have detoured from that, glorified works, glorified effort, and, you know, getting to the next level, the next level, the next level. And it's all bullshit in reality, because we're all one spirit, and that's it. We start as a spirit with nothing, and we end, you know, it's the flesh dies, you know, it's nothing. The job we have means nothing in the grand scheme of things. In our heads, it means something. And I've done that, where, because if you don't feel worthy as a child, you want to earn your worth. Okay? And that's what's wrong with a lot of modern day, like, Christianity today still, is there's this, like, you got to give this up. You're sinning. I hate that shit. And I will not subscribe to it, because that is literally like a flipping tables moment here. You're not worthy of God because you screwed up, and that will keep you down 100% of the time, because those thoughts will fucking destroy you. Even if you relapse, people want to dwell on it. I screwed up. You know, you just want to keep beating yourself. I'm slashing myself. No, that's bullshit. We're human. We make mistakes. If you really believe that a Messiah died on the cross for you, if that's really what you believe, then he's not a very good God if you fucking up is going to somehow abolish what he did for, like, he came for the imperfection. He didn't come for perfection. He came for the fuck ups. He came for me, people like me who have a story, who have been through horrendous stuff. And I am now a walking miracle. Like, I am a manifestation of God in a human form, because I only did some of the things I did because there's a God, because in my own strength, with all the shit that I've been through, it is impossible. I still can't believe when I look back at my life, like, how the hell did and that's where I have been humbled. And I used to want all the credit, and that's what these people want. That's what these people want. The ones that are in the church, sitting in the pews, talking about how great they are, and how this shit they gave up, and how they stopped doing drugs, and they don't drink, and they don't do this, and they don't watch pornography, and they do all the right things. Those are prideful people. The pride is what Satan struggled with, period. He wanted to be God. So when you're wanting to fix it yourself, do it yourself, make it happen, that's my struggle. We are then playing God, and God's not getting the credit. So if you had to be perfect for God, what did God do? You are diminishing what God is capable of, because God is capable of healing us all. If he's really God, and then he can surely, like, make things happen, right? He can do it. And that's where the faith comes in, and our roadblock is right here. My roadblock is my negative thoughts. My roadblock is, I am a bad mom because I was taken away, by the Department of Children and Family Services, became ward of the state. My mom was nuts. I was told I was nuts. So here I am now, a product, saying I'm nuts, I'm worthless, and what am I going to do? Drink, drug, I'm going to do it all. And then I'm going to try to seek glory through works, right? Through, like, I got this promotion, I made this much money, and it's never enough. It's never, ever enough. It's more and more and more and more and more. And I've gotten to a point where I can't be fucking happy. I'm not happy. It's like, and that's where I'm at today, where I'm like, I'm 40 years old. I'm not going to live another 40 years being unhappy. Why? Because this contract didn't go through. This person's mad at me. It's like, that's where we have to get. Like, nothing matters more than our own sanity, our own peace of mind, and our own integrity, and doing what our heart calls us to do. That's it. Because all of this stuff, the clothes you wear, all of it's nothing. It means nothing in the grand scheme of things, Somebody said, there's no U-Haul following the hearse when you die, taking your things with, so it's like, that's the point where I've gotten to. Not that I want to be a minimalistic. I like my things. I like my stuff, but I've never been materialistic, because it always seemed trivial. Even the scratches in my car was like, who cares? People ding your fucking car doors up. So why do I want a shiny Maserati when I have to go to a grocery store? It's like, that would cause me panic every time somebody, like, click, bing, bing, hit a bumper, hit a fucking thing. The whole thing is like, God doesn't ask for anything but for us to ask for him, period. That's it. That's all he wants. He wants us to ask for help, ask him to help, period. and then he can intervene. But we have our part, we have our own will, and we are human, and we will make mistakes, and we will have emotions, and we will get to a place where we will slip up and we will do the wrong thing. And yeah, it might be causing harm, but sometimes when you've got issues, it's like sometimes one harm is less, it's the lesser of the two evils. You know, am I going to go home and eat a pint of Haagen-Dazs, or am I going to go home and down a fifth? You know, it's like, what is it, you know? It's like, I'm not going to beat myself up for being human anymore, period. And I'm learning that, like, I've got to let go, because all of that, me caring about all the money and the job and all this shit, is like, why? And that's where the peace comes, when you let go and you trust God. But you don't trust God by somebody telling you you're going to go to hell because you're sinning. You don't come to trust somebody with that message. That doesn't earn any followers. I'm sorry, but no. That's what keeps people out of the church and away from God, because nobody wants to hear that. We already know we're fucking up. We already know we're hurting. We already know we had premarital sex. We already know we drank too much alcohol when we were younger. It's like, we already know. It's like, you know, I don't know. That's a weird rant, but all I can say is I just get annoyed with the self-righteous Christian, religious, overly religious, like, message. I just, because it's the opposite of the message that Jesus even had, you know. And it's so sad to see that we have not evolved from that, because that's why he was crucified in the first place, you know, because those people were self-righteous and they were doing everything right. And I don't even know. I'm rambling. I gotta go. But I do know that the more I seek this higher power out, the better I feel. The more I talk about, the more I go and ask God for intervention and stop trying to do it myself, the more I have a chance to see, I give him space to work, you know, in my life, and make room for him. Thank you. And that's what it's about, because and I don't like to create division by saying, you know, you got to call it Jesus, you got to call it this, you got to call it that. It's like, I know everybody has it. They have a feeling of something internal inside of them that's a soul or a spirit, and I can't say, like, you have to call it this, or it's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, I don't like to, like, cause that kind of division. And I really think that was the message that Jesus was giving people, you know, is we seek the Father and we ask, and the Father, and it was, you know, the guidance of the universe or God or whatever you want to call it, good orderly direction. But he seeks that spirit within. That's what it is. It's that intuition. It's a consciousness that we all have if we are quiet enough, and we lose it every day because we have too many things coming at us all at once and interrupting us and trying to steal our time and our attention. And the world is ran by cult leaders, you know, that want to take everything, our time, our attention, our money, and they want everything they can get from us. And they crucified a good dude. Even if you don't even believe he was a deity, like, he was just a good man. And that's what society did. And that's why I like the story, you know. That's why I never really knew, I didn't get the Jesus concept when I was younger. I just, like, it didn't make sense to me that, like, he loves you so much because he died for it. Just, God gave his only son for you. To me, that sounded crazy, because if God's so great and he can do anything, why is he like, he made me, but I'm such a piece of shit that he had to put a good man down on earth and have him murdered. That's a fucked up story. So you know what? No. I consider myself a Christian because I like Jesus. I admire who he is. But I see through all the bullshit that all these people have done over the years to gain control over it and like merchandise him. So, and it doesn't speak to me that like I'm loved so much, so he died for me. What happened to him speaks to me volumes, because society will do that to each other. Because why? Because society taught them that he was wrong. It was wrong for him to try to come up against the government. And so therefore they released a murderer, and the guy who Pontius Pilate cared more about his getting his next vote in election. He cared to meet the will of the people over doing what was right. And that is what drives me nuts. Truly, that society is still there. No, like so many people have no integrity, and we're in this place where people can't even speak the truth because they're afraid they might offend somebody. Or it's like, if we don't have that level of boldness, like, I don't know. I mean, look at what we do to each other. Look at what society does. Look at abortion. Look at fucking abortion. Look at how they've convinced people that is like a woman's choice. It's a choice. It's a choice to take a little baby and have a doctor go inside of them and make sure all the body parts are accounted for. Oh, we got the head. Because the woman can die if they leave one little part in there to rot. So I am disgusted with society. Truly. And it breaks my heart. So that's why I respect Jesus. Because he too was disgusted with society. Because people would stone people because they made a mistake. They would take rocks and bludgeon them to death. And that was societal norm. That was the fucking societal norm. Who spoke up against it? He did. He said, this is wrong. He had the fucking balls to say no. And he was willing to die for what was right. You don't even need the whole God and he's God's son. You don't need that story to admire that man. You do not. Like, at all. And it wasn't until I started looking at it differently and learning about him and who he was as a person in this story, that we assume he really walked, right? But he doesn't have to be a deity. He doesn't have to be the son of God, but was God working in him? Hell yeah, God was in this man. God is in all of us. But a lot of us have buried him, like rejected him. So he can't operate. So anyway, I gotta go because I'm fucked up in the head. I'm getting myself all worked up. And you know what? I'm going to have to set these boundaries. I'm sorry, TikTok shop people, but I don't fucking work for you. I'm doing you a favor. Yes, you sent me something, but my mental health is more important. So yeah, I got to work on my fucking mental health. And yeah, I'll give you a good video when I can, because that's that. And I'm sitting here feeling guilty about it and trying to navigate how I'm going to get all this stuff done. And it's wearing me out. I keep doing these things for other people that are just, it's like you get so much peace when you finally say, Yeah, thank you, Southern accent. Yeah, I do need a fucking podcast. Sorry I swore like that, but yeah, I do. I have a lot to say. Yeah, I had a rough day too. Real fucking bad. So, hope you feel better. Yeah. Anyway, I gotta go. So, it was good to talk to you guys. Love you.